All right, you maggots, listen up. Think you got what it takes to be a gamer? Think you can handle the pressure, the competition, the sheer joy of dominating some noobs online? Well, listen up, because Master Sergeant here is about to deploy you into the 117th Gaming Squadron podcast. This ain't your mama's tea party. We're talking strategy, reviews, the latest intel on the gaming battlefield, and of course, enough brews to fuel a B-52 bomber. So grab a controller, crack open a cold one, and get ready to learn from the best, or at least the loudest. Now reporting for duty, your fearless leader, the Squadron Commander.
Well, how you been since yesterday?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Work has been an adventure, say the least. A lot of stuff going on with some projects that I'm not too fond of, and it's making us look bad, but it's not our fault. But yeah, it was Friday. I'm happy to go home and play games and relax.
Yeah, well, that's what I did last night too. So
Nice.
relaxed and drank too many beers that I think I was passed out by like 7:30. So
I basically had a similar thing, but mine was like 10:30. Yeah, I was out. I made a couple like screwdrivers because I was playing Space Marines, and then I had a couple Coronas, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna chill, play some games, and I started nodding out. I'm like, guess it's time for me to go to bed.
yep.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So what's new in the video game world with you?
Video game world. As you know, Space Marines.
Mm-hmm.
They still got some fixing to do. They dropped that huge patch. I think it was Thursday, the 1.8 gigs or whatever for the update.
Right.
It semi works. It didn't fix everything. We still have the connection issues every once in a while where you're joining server and then it disconnects the lobby when you're in a mission or out of a mission.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like the actual gameplay and the story so far, it's good. I love that game. It's gonna have a bunch of replayability and stuff like that because I know the story is not too long because they're gonna add it as like expansions.
Oh, sure.
Through the season pass, but there's operations that you can do to upgrade your class because I know when you get into PvP you can do like class sets and stuff like that. So that's going good.
Like, can you play the game by yourself, or do you have to have people with you? Like, if you play the game, would you have AIs on your team?
Yeah,
You?
like Gears.
Okay.
Yep. So you can go in solo, and then your other two people will be bots, and they're actually not that bad. I've always played with either 2 or 3, so I don't know how one of the guys special would act as an AI. But the one guy who does a special with like the recon stuff, he does that pretty well. Like if he sees a huge group of enemies, he'll use it. Then I'm like, oh, that's a good placement for an AI. So, yeah, no big complaints. Just think they're in the same spot as like Helldivers when it first dropped, where they were having a bunch of connection issues and server overloads and stuff like that. Because I think their concurrent players right now is like 350,000 people.
Wow.
Concurrently playing that game, so it's huge. It's definitely got some following, and pretty sure Epic is going to keep it alive and do good things for it. So either that or Space Marines right now, or sorry, not Space Marines. First Ascendant. Yeah, they added another proficiency thing that was going on. That's what I was playing this morning, trying to get a couple runs in before I switched over and did this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's going good, and getting some stuff planned for Halloween, October stuff, horror stuff. Trying to plan it out so that way I could play games and maybe do one story game, because if I try to do too many, I probably won't finish it during the duration of the month. So I'm gonna try to just do a bunch of like indie games, or maybe just play more games like Phasmophobia. I'm looking at getting Outlast Trials for that run because I could play with multiple people on that one. So yeah, that's the gaming for me right now.
You should play Resident Evil 7 in VR.
Ooh.
Or I think did they include it? I think 8 even got VR support too, I believe, for PlayStation.
Okay. Does it still support the old one or the new one?
It would be the original VR because I believe
that came out with the original one before the new one, right?
So,
PSVR 2.
The original VR does work on the PS5. You just need to buy an additional an adapter to plug in the camera because it doesn't have that port. So basically, it goes
Gotcha.
from the camera port to a USB-C, and then you plug it in. Everything else works fine. So
Gotcha. Okay.
they
Might have to
even
play
add
around
in-
with that.
Oh, Resident Evil 4 got VR support for the VR2. I know that.
Okay. Damn, so many games are getting that VR support thing now. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, because there's also I hear one of those a good game for VR is the Walking Dead Saint and Sinners.
Yeah, I think me and you were talking about that before.
Mhm.
I know. What is it called? Is it the Oculus Rift? The one where you could just plug into your PC and it already has the games loaded in. You just buy them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. I've seen a couple people off of YouTube play that Walking Dead game. They said that's one of the best games on VR.
I've seen trailers for it, and it's almost tempting to get. I was hoping that PlayStation would drop it either as a free plus game to grab, or it would be in their online catalog to play.
You would think eventually. Maybe it won't though because it still sells.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but who knows? Maybe in the future, still towards Halloween, that'd be a good time to drop it if they were going to do it.
That's what I'm hoping. We'll see. Hopefully,
Okay.
closer to Halloween, they because usually in October when PlayStation drops games, they usually do kind of a horror.
Correct.
Theme
Yeah,
with
it's
it,
always. I notice every year too, and that's why I'm hoping that it's on sale. Every year they always do a sale for Outlast,
Mm-hmm.
where it'd be like the Whistleblower expansion or the bundle that comes with Outlast 1 and 2. So I'm hoping this year they have a bundle where at least Outlast Trials is cheaper because then I'll buy it then. It's not an expensive game, but if you can get it for a deal, get it for a deal.
I think we talked about Amnesia: The Bunker, didn't we?
Yes, I played
That's
all the Amnesia games. It's a good game.
Because I think the bunker seems tempting to me because it's like you're in a World War One bunker and you have to stay in the light and there's something chasing you and you kind of have to go through the bunker to like restore power and fix stuff. And that looks
Yep,
like it'd be kind of creepy.
And it's all just psychological. That's what it is. It's like a big mind fuck, basically.
Yeah. So
while you're down there, yeah.
So if you're doing it with headphones, you probably get more immersed into it. You're like, did someone just
100%.
talk to me? Like, what the heck is
Yeah.
that? I hear something behind me, but I don't want to turn around.
For real.
Yeah, I'm hoping that, like you said, that more horror games drop or are more affordable, or at least be able to play both either on the Game Pass or the PlayStation Premium services and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. How's what about you? What about games are you playing right now?
Currently playing Astrobot, which is a hell of a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my wife even really enjoys it too. And so
Nice.
that's what we were playing last night when I passed out. We were playing it, and then finally I was just like, I'm just going to lay down next to you while she was playing, and apparently like I was out within minutes, and so she played a little bit longer by herself and everything, and then stopped because her and I want to play it together, so
Gotcha.
and everything. But no, that game is a lot of fun.
Okay.
I know the reviews of it have been off the charts. It's selling,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that like I don't know how to explain it, but it's just like you just start playing, you just really enjoy it. You just want to be like, hey, I got to get all the bots, got to get all the puzzle pieces, got to find the warp pipe, and then you're like, okay, and you move on, and then there are definitely levels that are challenging where it's not like, oh, this is easy. Nope, there are some that are like I was getting pissed because I kept dying so quickly and easily. It's just like, god damn this thing. So
okay, I definitely have that on my list to get. It's in my wish list on my PlayStation account because I might get it because it gives me so many vibes. I was telling you before of what is it called? Little Big Planet.
Mm-hmm.
Little Big Planet was just fun. It's just like you didn't have to go for everything, but it made you want to.
Yeah.
Just because of all the little puzzles, the little things you can do, and all the different sock boys you can do to change your cosmetics and stuff like that. So yeah, I like that.
Well, Sackboy for the PS5 was the first game that my wife and I collaborated together.
Okay.
And because you can play with two people at the same time, and
like couch co-op.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're both on the same screen, and then we actually help each other out because we can pick each other up, maybe like throw each other, and everything. It's definitely good for boss battles and stuff like that. So.
Okay.
But yeah, we went through and would go back and try to find everything, and they have so many different costumes you could put on. I think for a while there, who was I? It was one of the PlayStation characters. I can't remember, but she was like Aloy for a while there.
Nice. Yeah, because they have so many. I know you could be like Kratos. You could be could you be Ratchet and
Yeah, I
Clank?
think it could be Ratchet or
Yeah,
Clank.
and Sly
And
Cooper.
yep, I think
Yep.
Daxter,
Mm-hmm.
Jack and Daxter. I mean, a lot of the PlayStation brands were on there, of course, and they came out with other fun stuff like a Bumblebee or like a Wookiee, not a Wookiee, but like a Abominable Snowman, just other
Yep.
ones, fun stuff like that. Clown.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, no, I remember that game. Sackboy was a lot of fun. We also, It Takes Two is actually a really fun cooperative game, which
I love that game. It was a good game.
we actually do need to work together because it's not like, oh, we're playing the same game together. Like, no, we have to help each other out, solve puzzles
Yep.
or unlock stuff. So yeah, that's a game that we do have to kind of talk and collaborate. And
Yep.
like, all right,
Boss battles. Like, oh, I'm gonna do this. Okay, so
right.
when I do this, you have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a fun game. It's dope.
I hope they make a sequel to that and everything.
That would be kind of cool. I don't know how they would really do it because it just seems like a short story
Mm-hmm.
about just like an everyday struggles of like a family, thing. But I don't know. They could do something with it, almost like Life is Strange.
Yeah, they could probably pick another family, similar story maybe.
Make it like a series.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's
It
not a
doesn't have
bad
to be like
idea.
a husband and wife. Maybe it could be like a, father daughter or something like that, or
That is
daughter,
true.
something like that, where they can try to work on their relationship together.
Yeah, that is.
So
good idea. You hear that, gaming people?
yeah, right. Watch, but it will to existence within the next like 6 months. Be like, the sequel to It Takes Two's coming out. This time you're playing as this. You're like, oh right.
Right. Exactly.
But on that, like gaming wise, like I'm slowly chipping away at Halo achievements and everything. I was able to achieve one the other night for Master Chief Collection, where you play so many Halo Reach playlists that they create.
Oh, okay.
And everything. I think you have to complete like 5 playlists, and then there's an achievement for that. So I was able to get that the other night.
Okay.
Other than that, I haven't really. Yeah, I got the. I don't know if you can see that. I got the Astrobot controller.
Yeah, I see that. I see your Astrobot controller, and I see you got your Boulder's Gate thing up top there. Yep.
Yes,
yeah, sir. So that's cool.
I was actually looking online, and people are actually putting the Astrobot controller on eBay, and they're trying to sell it for like $130 to $150.
Really?
Brand new. So I'm just like, wow. I don't know. Maybe it's selling, maybe it's not, but.
Huh. Okay. Interesting. Any gaming news you're excited for, or upcoming things? Because I know they did the press conference for the PlayStation Pro.
Well, yeah, I figured that would kind of maybe be our like topic for today, is our talk about the PS5 Pro and our thoughts on it and everything. Like,
oh, for sure, yeah.
Because, yeah, so it dropped this last Tuesday.
Yes.
And we saw Mark Cerny talk about it, and since then, I listened to a podcast talking from IGN. I also I read comments. So I guess I'm curious to hear, like, after it's been a few days, what are your thoughts on it? Is it something that you're like, yeah, I'll probably get it, or like, I still don't know. Like,
yeah, there's a podcast that I listen to. He used to actually work for IGN. What is it? His name is it Colin Moriarty? And he has his own podcast on. I'm gonna look it up because he pretty much does everything PlayStation. 1 second here. Sacred Symbols.
Oh yeah, I follow that too. Yeah.
Yeah, Sacred Symbols. I know he put out a podcast about it, and I want to listen to his too. But yeah, I've heard mixed things. I don't know, man. My biggest drawback from it, well, one, it's not physical for this, and we already talked. I'm a physical person. Like, I try to get all the physical games I can, but they're slowly moving towards where that's not going to be a thing. I don't know eventually when they're just going to cut it completely, but with this move, I feel like they are definitely hinting that eventually everything will be just digital, no physical things. The specs, they were basically saying is double the current PS5. I don't know. The biggest thing that I have for that is just like, I don't even know if there's many games that push the PS5 currently. Like, and what I mean by push is like I don't know, what is it, FF 18 or was it
16.
15? 16, there you go. So that one was the only one that it was literally pushing the damn PS5 so bad it was like crashing the system.
Yeah, it was actually overheating, I heard.
Yeah, it was just like so. And I'm not saying that you need to make games like that, but I'm saying like there's not many other games that will utilize as much power as the 5 has right now. So I don't really see a reason to get it. Like even with because what was some other like Ragnarok? Ragnarok is an extensive game, but it ran it just fine.
Yeah,
Looked good, played well, like all of that. So until I see more games that I think requires much more power, it's like I don't think I really need it at the moment. I do want it eventually, but like it's not a probably day one purchase for me.
I know. I went and watched the Mark Cerny again this morning just to kind of. He talked about like the big three, and one of them was the larger GPU, like like you were saying earlier, how it produced higher frame rates at quality mode, and now, so you don't have to choose between performance and quality. The advanced ray tracing, which I didn't realize that should be a huge selling point. Like advanced ray tracing, so now looks more realistic on water. I'm like, oh, that's what I've been missing this entire time, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And then the last thing they talked about was their PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, their AI-driven upscaler.
Yeah, that sounded interesting. I will say that because that was like I think they were saying like even older games now will have that little symbol on the case, or it will let you know that like, hey, you can upscale this game,
right?
To make it look really good, like if it was already on PS5. I was like, that's cool. I think the idea and the concept for people who, I guess, where quality is a huge thing for them, that would be the selling point for them. For me, it's just like I'm fine with this one until I can see a game that utilizes every single aspect of the PS5.
One thing that I wouldn't say frustrates me, or it's just kind of like I'm surprised that we're still dealing with this, is the fact that like I thought this whole generation with the PS5 Series X, like we would be able to hit 60 frames per second at 4K, like because they were trying to do that on the previous generation with the One X and the PS4 Pro, but this generation it's like we still haven't really got it. And it's like, oh, but now with this new system, you can now get 60 frames a second while having quality. I'm like, I thought that should have been like this generation
that should have been definitely the base model of this PS5. Yes, I mean for what was it, 500? Was this one? Is just like, yeah, with that you would definitely think, since you already knew that you were trying it with the PS4 Pro, you should have already had an inkling to how to do it with the PS5, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then not just that, I was just thinking about it. Another thing that frustrates me with the Pro is that it's space. What was it? Only 3 TB, or was it 2?
Oh, the PS4 Pro.
Yeah.
I think it only came with a 1 TB drive.
Really?
I think it came because I know the base PS4s came with a 500. I think that one may have just came with a 1 TB.
Okay. What about the Pro? The Pro is 2 TB, right?
The PS5 Pro is 2 TB. Yes.
Okay.
The 4, so
guess that's not bad, but I was totally thinking it would be 3.
Yeah.
Just because you already know that 1 TB, you can say probably like 35% of that is going to be just the PlayStation coding and everything like that. So you don't even get really 2 TB. You know what I mean? So it's just like I thought it would have definitely been 3, so that way they could take that one of the terabytes from there and make it's PlayStation system, and you have 2 TB of space.
Right.
That would have been, I'm like, maybe I'll get it then, because then if it would have had an expansion bay, I would put my SSD into that one. Then I would have a 4 TB PS5, and it's just like I'll be set. I mean, I don't even need that much space, but a lot of these games are getting bigger. A lot of the updates are getting bigger, and I try not to delete games because I want to make sure like I remember what games I'm playing so I can go for the achievements or the the trophies and stuff.
Right.
But with the space hindrance, it's kind of hard to do that. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, going off what you said about the space, like I was just thinking how if they want to release games to PS5 Pro, like that's going to take up more storage because they're probably going to have higher resolution assets that are going to be, they're going to require more data to hold it. And so, like with 2 terabytes, you could probably have maybe like, what, 4 or 5 games that are PS5 Pro compatible that you're like, then my hard drive is pretty much almost full. Like,
yep. Especially if it's any sort of shooter. Like if it's a Call of Duty, hell, Rainbow Six Siege,
yep.
Apex, any of those games, they're always constantly updating stuff. So you're spending gigs upon gigs of just patches and updates, and when like events roll around, they patch all that crap. So little by little, it chips away if you play any of those games. So it's just like space is a plus if they could have made that much more than just the 2. So,
and I have seen studios start coming out with options of what you want installed and not installed. So, like, do you want the multiplayer pack installed? No. Okay, you just want the campaign. Do you want these additional?
Oh, you mean that way? Yeah.
They've come out with a way that says, nope, it's not one all. It's like, okay, you can choose what you want installed and uninstalled, and you can kind of swap back and forth of, you know, I'm done with the campaign. Go ahead and get rid of that. Install like multiplayer or these additional packs and stuff like that. So, but yeah, even then, it's like it still takes up a crap ton of storage on your unit and your And then let's not forget about download speeds. Like I have a 2 terabyte fiber, but I may max out at like 500 if I'm lucky. I mean, I have seen it get up to 800.
Yeah,
but that's like once here and there. It's mostly like 300 to 500.
Right. Yep.
Megabytes a second, and so that like 100, the 80 gig or 120 gig file still takes an hour.
Right.
So you're kind of like, I'm just sitting here waiting because you're like, I want to play this game, but
yeah, I think overall though, if people want the Pro, it's not going to be as hard to get it as it was just the base PS5. I think it will be a little bit easier because not everyone's going to jump on the bandwagon to buy the Pro just because that price tag for most people. Even I heard people saying that the turn in for the PS5, or not turn in, the trade in for the PS5 will be pretty good. Maybe that will help a little bit, but like a lot of people are not going to jump at a $700 price tag for that. Because I was explaining to my buddy, it's like $700. Seriously, you can almost build a whole PC with that.
Oh yeah,
and it will be probably better than the PS5. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that like you could definitely with $700 build a decent PC that will get you where you need to be. But I don't know. We'll see in the future because what does it release in November?
November, and I think pre-orders start in like the next week and a half or something.
Okay. So yeah, I'm pretty sure the pre-orders will probably be sold out like once they're done. I don't know who they're doing it through. It's probably going to be through Sony, probably Amazon,
I can
Target, Best Buy,
probably all the big retailers.
Yeah,
maybe even
Walmart. Yeah.
Maybe some other online stores, maybe like Newegg.
Oh yeah. But shit, I'm actually surprised. I wonder if Micro Center would have some.
I know they do sell the consoles. I've gone to the store. They have games and accessories and stuff like that. They might.
They might. Okay. But yeah, I think once all those get sold out, still like after that whole thing happens, I don't think it's going to be like popping like they want it to. If it is, I guess I'll just be wrong. But I just think with the price tag, a lot of people are probably looking at it like, I don't really need it at the moment. So we'll see. See what happens in the future.
Yeah, I even said the same thing about the PlayStation Portal. I'm like, who's going to buy that thing? And the thing's constantly sold out. Like, it's hard to find. I'm like, really? And then, of course, I ended up buying one myself. So I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm one of those people too. But,
Yeah, that was me. I didn't want one at first, but then I wound up getting one. It was one of those times where it's just like sometimes you just want to be in a different room. You don't want to be in the chair all the time playing your game. And I'm just like, you know what?
Yeah.
Got the Portal. Just sit back and go chill and play that for a little bit, and it's not bad. I could play like First Descendant on it and some of my story games, and it's fine. It's a little weird trying to play a shooter, having your thumb so far apart, but yeah, it works.
One thing I was thinking about this morning, which now that the PS5 Pro has been announced, that if you think about it, now developers almost have to design a game for 4 consoles. You have Series S, Series X, PS5 base, and the PS5 Pro.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like 4 separate consoles that these developers have to develop for.
Yep.
And then you wonder, like, okay, how do they start this? Do they go, okay, we're just going to make it for the PS5 Pro base and Series X, get that running, then adjust it, and then, but you think, like, how much resources does that take? How much additional money? How much additional time? And stuff like that. Does that mean that now games take 2-3 years to develop? Is that going to add another 6 months, another year in development for that stuff? And it's just like, because right now it seems like we're getting one game a generation compared to back in the day was like the PS2. You get a sequel within like the first like 8, 9, 10 months after that one game was released.
Right.
And so that just got me thinking, like, does that mean like developing time is going to be extended and whatnot just to make it compatible with that new system?
Right.
And so,
I mean, just overall, I think the supply and demand for games have been so much more compared to like the PS3, because even in PS4 we started to see the gaps of like when a good game would come out, you probably wouldn't see it for like at minimum like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
If it, like I think, because what was it, like for instance Last of Us, like when did we see Last of Us 1, and then when did we see Last of Us Part 2? I'm pretty sure it was like 2 years, wasn't it?
Oh, I thought it was longer, because The Last of Us was basically one of the last games released in the PS3.
Let me see.
And then I know they came out with a remaster for PS4, but then I'd say 4-year development maybe.
So the original one was 2013.
Okay.
So, and then let's see, Part 2. Holy boy. Wait, is that the remastered? Released for the PlayStation 4 on... No, that is the original one, 2020.
Oh, so like 7 years later they finally released it.
So if you get any big games like that, it seems like that's the new trend, is that like it's not going to be as fast as it was before. And I think this is where indie games start to kind of shine, if you ask me. Because like in between, especially when I got my fix of Last of Us, the first one, because I played the crap out of like the multiplayer and everything. But once they stopped doing anything with it, I had indie games, I had some other games to play, but I think that will be the trend for the future, is that they're going to start having way longer gaps in between their games and their series. I also think that slowly Sony, I don't know if it's going to be more on the Xbox side that they do this, but I think for sure Sony, where they're going to stop producing some of these games on the PS5 base one, and just only focus on the Pro one. Because I think they're already starting to do that now with certain games, where they're just not releasing it on the 4, and they're just only releasing it on the 5.
Yep.
So, because that would allow them to kind of, I don't want to use the word, but basically force you to be like, hey, if you want this game, you got to get the Pro. You know what I mean? Because that's the only way it's going to work. So, I think it's going to happen more on Sony side rather than Xbox, because Xbox library, they want you to just play their games. So I think they're just going to let it slide. If you want to play it, it's not going to be that bad for them. But
yeah, because I know Microsoft's focusing more on their Game Pass cloud gaming.
Correct.
And everything.
Yeah.
So to them, that's probably something that's going to be in the long game. That's probably going to be what's going to happen. And Microsoft's probably going to be like, we've already have the infrastructure for that. We've been working on it for years. That when it comes down to that, Sony and Nintendo might be like trying to play catch up, but Microsoft's like, well, we're well established. We've worked out all the bugs. We got the tech. So you literally either have to buy like a little HDMI plug-in, or a lot of TVs now can have like a chip built in, and all you need is just a controller, and you just stream right to it, and you're playing it like 4K 60 or 4K 120.
Yep.
Especially if you have the internet bandwidth for it. So
because I even heard a rumor, and this is just a rumor. I can't even really remember what site I heard it from, but they were saying that it's possible that Xbox might be done making consoles, and then they're primarily focusing just on their streaming of their gaming library. Which, to be honest, it wouldn't be a bad play, because like already their library is probably the best out of the 3. obviously you got Nintendo having their focus on like family friendly games and a bunch of party games and stuff like that. But like overall, I would definitely take Xbox's library over PlayStation because they just cycle games out so much, and then they got a lot of their older games that you can play too. And I think PlayStation's trying to catch up to that because you even seen it with their streaming service that they had on their higher tier for the PlayStation Plus, and it took them a long time to get that to actually be good. Because when it first dropped, that first year or so, it was okay at best. Like it couldn't hold having that streaming of like I don't know Siphon Filter.
Yeah.
The first one playing the game, it just looked like crap. It's like it played really bad. But now it seems a little better. But overall, I think that'd be Sony's play, and then Xbox's move in the future.
I am curious, yeah, because I know earlier this year when Microsoft started announcing that they're going to release games on the PlayStation, they did announce that they are in development of a new console that could be the biggest technological leap in console gaming. So I am curious to see, is that going to be like an actual set-top unit where we physically buy it? Or like you said, it's just going to be just something that's like a little streaming box, and that's it. Like, is it still going to play physical media? Does it still have physical hardware in there, like the GPU, CPU, all that jazz? Or is it just going to be like, yep, just a little plug-in HDMI port, plug it power, your controllers are Bluetooth connected, all this jazz, and boom, that's it.
For sure.
Because I do see, I know you and I have talked about this a lot, that when the PS6 comes around or whatever the next Xbox is, that they'll probably, like you said, all digital. If they do have a disc drive, it's going to be like an accessory that you can buy separately so you can still play it.
Yep.
But the thing that I know that people don't like about digital is the argument of like you don't actually own the game.
Correct.
Compared to physically having it. Physically having it, I can grab it and say, I own this so I can play it. But
yep,
you're basically buying a quote unquote license, and then after a while they could be like, we're not letting you play this game more, and it's like it's gone.
Yeah.
Like if those servers shut down or stop working,
you can't play anything.
Right.
Yeah, I don't. I want to see if Colin brings that up in his podcast too, because it's just I think that's the biggest factor for me. It's just like you said that we talked about it. It's just I want to make sure that if I buy this game, that's my game. But when you do digital for Sony, it's just like no, you own a license to play this game.
Right.
So if anything ever happens, you just SOL, and I don't think that should be a thing. But I think I was talking to two at work. He was saying that like the price to make like discs are expensive as hell, and I didn't know that. He said it's somewhere around like $700. Like a copy, and I'm like, damn, that's kind of price. I didn't know it was that like expensive. Like he was doing research about it. I'm like, well then maybe they will cut that, but I'll be surprised to see how many people then won't buy, because there is definitely a community of people that love physical, and I'm part of it. Like if I had to choose, it would definitely be physical, but eventually I think no matter what, it's just going to phase out because it'll just be better selling point for the companies.
Right, and then you wonder what collector's edition is going to be about. Like, here's all this fun stuff for the collector's edition, and oh, here's a download code for the game.
Yeah, so speaking of that, because then if they might not even do it anymore, but I'm surprised if they would make like the steel bookcases anymore then.
Right.
Because it literally wouldn't be a reason to, because there's no disc at all that's going to come out with it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I have a steel bookcase, but I have no game to put it in. So it's just sitting on the shelf like, yeah, I got the steel book, but no game.
Right. So yeah, it's going to be interesting next couple of years, because I'm pretty sure what's their cycle now that the Pro is coming out, we won't hear anything for the 5 like or the 6 or whatever they call it, like for the next, what is it, 2 years, 3 years?
I could say at least 2, if not 3. Yes.
Yeah, something like that. Okay, and then you'll probably start hearing inklings of oh, here's the PS6 or whatever they're gonna call it. So, yeah, I think the future for the next consoles on all 3 ends are gonna be different. It's going to be different. It's going to be a lot of people either yay or nay in the mix. So I still think that the dark horse is Nintendo. I still think they got something planned for their next console because I feel bad because they're always like they have their core audience that they always look forward to with whether it be games or consoles and stuff like that. But I feel like their name is always behind the other two because no matter what they do is always like, oh, you hear Sony, you hear Xbox. It's like, oh, okay. But I always felt like Nintendo knows what they're doing. It's just when they want to do it.
Well, yeah, I guess since the day when the Wii came out, like Nintendo's been marching to the beat of their own drum. They completely said we're not going to fight for who has the most powerful console. Graphics aren't a big thing. They're like, we're going to make a console that's fun and does what we want it to do. And so, they invest in like new technology like motion sensors and stuff like that. And look what happened. The Wii just blew up. Like it sold over 100 million copies. And there's people like my aunt bought a Wii, and she's not a video gamer, but she enjoyed the games that came with it.
That's my mom. She did the exact same thing. She does not game whatsoever, but she loves all like the Wii Sports stuff. So like she'll play tennis or bowling or the baseball one. I'm like, that's weird. Like you're not a gamer whatsoever, but you like this.
Yeah. And then of course the Switch was a success. I think it's still the highest selling console if you count the PS4, Xbox One generation. I think it blew. Yeah, I think it sold over like 125, 130 million units.
Okay.
And if you look at the top sales, like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe sold like 68, 70 million copies. That's almost like for every 2 Switches sold, one of them also bought Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with it. And so, and yeah, that game's a lot of fun. It's a fun party game because you get up to 4 people playing. It's has so much replay value with it.
Right.
And then, but they're not keen about like, oh, this game needs to be at 4K, 60 frames. I mean, but yeah, I am curious to see when's Nintendo going to reveal their next console because they talked about it. They're like, we have one in development, but now's not the time to reveal it.
Right.
But with the announcement of the PS5 Pro, is Nintendo kind of worried, or they're just kind of like, whatever? We still.
I still definitely think it's whatever. Like you said earlier, they no matter what happens, I feel like they're never pressured to do anything.
No, they
just do whatever they want. I mean, they have one of the bigger series that have been like in gaming history forever, like Mario, Zelda, like just them two alone. I'm pretty sure that would keep them up afloat like forever. Kirby, Pokemon, just in any of those would definitely keep Nintendo always in the running just from those games alone. And,
anytime a Mario game is released, it's going to sell well.
Yeah, exactly. I whatever lowest selling Mario it is, it's still pretty good. Whatever it might be. So yeah, but I think for the consoles, the next generation will be crazy. It's going to be really interesting on Xbox. I really want to know what Xbox is going to do. That's I mean out of the three, it'd definitely be Xbox, Nintendo, and then PlayStation. Yeah. I think PlayStation always I haven't seen them like, how can I say, take a risk for anything really yet for their console. You know what I mean? Like they've always been like, okay, we're working towards this, and then that's it. Nintendo, that's what I feel like Nintendo is good for. Is like you don't know what they're going to do with their console, like whether it be technological leap that they're trying to accomplish, or whether it be like something completely different from their last console.
Yep.
And then Xbox is, I don't know, man. I don't even know where to put my finger for Xbox either. Like what they want to do for future.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting how after the purchase of Activision Blizzard, like now they have this huge catalog of games that they own now. That I think they said something about like now all of like games out there, like Microsoft has its hand in at least one of those games or at least like 5 games, like Call of Duty now, Microsoft. Other games that pop up that fall under that brand, that it's like you're playing on your PlayStation, but that's a game or studio that's now owned by Microsoft.
Correct.
So it's like they have their hand down almost like every pie now, both for Sony and Nintendo.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they did a lot of acquiring when it came down to that whole what was like a full year where just like you would hear like Microsoft bought this company, well Sony bought this company, Microsoft bought this one. It's just like holy crap, they're going crazy. They're trying to build a super monopoly.
I'm waiting for them to turn around and say Microsoft has bought Sega, and then suddenly they got Sega under their wing. Which
if they got Sega, I don't know if. I mean, obviously they'll be okay, but that would be a crazy competition then if they acquired Sega versus like Xbox and Sony. Holy crap, that'd be crazy if Xbox bought Sega. But that would probably be bigger than trying to acquire Activision. You think?
It would definitely be a huge purchase because Sega has their like arcade division, and I know that's very popular in Japan. That their arcade systems are they do very well over there, and you wonder if that means does Microsoft also like keep the arcade division, but then I guess it'll be something to them to break into the Japanese market because they don't really own any Japanese studios.
Right. Sony does.
For sure. Yeah, Tango Gameworks, I guess, was a Japanese studio that Microsoft owned when they got Bethesda, but they closed that down. But yeah, I know that Xbox has always struggled in Japan just because of the unit, the name, and just people are like Sony, Japanese company, Nintendo, Japanese company. They support their own more than they support a foreign product.
Yep.
But yeah, I know I think 2025 is going to be a very interesting year in video gaming, not only for games being released, but for news, console-wise, and stuff like that. I mean, just think about where we were like 10 years ago, and 2014, I think, was it the PS4 and Xbox One had just dropped. And I remember thinking, like, these graphics are insane. Like, look how realistic they are. And then now you think about it, and you're like, oh my god.
And it's but here's the thing that I'm wondering when it's going to halt. So no matter what, building a PC is always going to basically have the edge over consoles because you can just do so much more in that machine versus the two consoles. When does Microsoft and Sony say we have to start moving towards that direction, building something that will actually rival that? Because I feel like in the future, eventually, that's the player base is started going to like dwindle because it's just more cost effective, I think, to buy or build a PC because it's going to have longevity,
right?
And you could constantly like, oh, CPU or GPU is going out, just go buy another one and replace it, make sure it's compatible, you're good to go. Whereas to the consoles, what you pay for is what you get. Like you're just stuck with that. So I've always wondered when they were going to make that realization, or if they even care to dibble and dabble in that realm of PC stuff.
Wait, even I'm sure you probably heard about this too, that once the new console drops, they're already turned around working on the next generation.
Oh, I did not know that.
Oh, I that's what I've read sometimes where it's just like now that they released, like, for example, the PS4, they've already kind of turned around and said, okay, what can we do for the next console? Like it's already like in pre-development or brainstorming because how long the development takes. If they say that console is like 6 to 7 year lifespan, they want to be able to have something to show by then, and at the same time also probably look at the trend of technology, and waiting for like the GPU or CPUs to what they want to drop in price so they can produce it and stuff like that. So, because I mean, I'm sure when the PS5 launched, Sony was already talking about we need a Pro version. What can we do to make it better?
Oh, always. I think that's always going to be like that since Pro started to be made. It's like as soon as they drop the base model, they're like, what can we do to make this one even better now? So, yeah, I don't know. I've always felt that I thought that the 5 was going to be more or less like a mini computer where it would be Sony branded, but then you could buy other Sony product to make it stronger. Just basically like a PC, but it's owned by Sony. You know what I mean? and maybe that's a thing in the future because it's a huge market if you could start getting PC people to buy that type of stuff. You know what I mean? And they already have that kind of with Microsoft because a lot of their games are, on Steam and stuff like that, but not for Sony. A lot of their games come out like shit, depending on the game, 5 years down the road that it would actually go to PC. Like I think what was it, Moss Hunter? I think finally got to PC maybe like 2 years ago. Moss Hunter World.
Okay.
Yeah, that one. That one's on PC, and then Bloodborne is coming out soon, if not already out on PC.
Jeez, I know people are demanding just for a 60 frame patch on the PS5. Just like
yeah,
all I want is a 60 frame patch. You can do it on the PS5, and
Well, yeah, it's just especially with how much you're paying for, you would think they would at least lock that in, where it's like that. But now they're saying for sure that the Pro will do that. But I'm like, damn, you have to go and build another whole console to do that.
Yeah,
I totally thought PS5 base would do that for what you're paying for, but you know how it is.
Yeah, and especially being a game collector like mine, it's just like they announce, you're like, I know I'm gonna buy it. I know I'm gonna buy it. You're just telling yourself, you're like, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it because I want to add it to my collection. I want to be like, yep, I got that console too, and everything. And so it's just like, oh, yeah. And then are you gonna go back and replay a lot of those games to see how it runs on it? Maybe,
Right. That's a big catalog.
Yeah. Do I want to go back and play God of War Ragnarok again, but this time it's on the PS5 Pro and not on the base, and just see like, oh my god, it's so much better playing, or like, oh, I didn't really notice much of a difference between the two, kind of thing.
Right. Okay.
And whatnot, but I will be curious to see how the pre-orders go. I'll probably just watch and see if can I go to Best Buy, Walmart, Target, and be like, hey, it's still available if you want to pre-order it, or if it's going to be selling out like that and be like, wow, it is sold out, kind of thing.
Right. Well, I think that's what pretty much everyone is waiting for. Like, is it going to be as hard to get as the PS5? Because PS5 was hard to get. I think a lot of people didn't get theirs for at least year and a half.
Yeah.
At most. I almost waited a full year to get mine. It was like 7 months.
I think it was like 2 years for mine, but yeah, it was a long time after launch, which is frustrating because like I want the new system. I want to be able to play it, but
yeah,
I know.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. One of the things that I was starting to think of too, because I know they're in like all the councils and the companies are doing this, but what game would you want to see either remade or brought back to life? Like if you could have it made on the newer consoles. Like me, I've always been a fan of Splinter Cell. And or even Siphon Filter, either one of those like espionage stealth games. Like I love stealth games, and they just stopped. Like Splinter Cell used to be on both Xbox and Sony PlayStation.
Yeah.
But I think it was, I want to say Double Agent, where that was the last one where they were on both, and then Splinter Cell, I think it was called like Panther or something like that, was specifically only on Xbox, and I'm like, what the hell? Same thing happened with Monster Hunter too. It's just like for years it was on Sony, then it got dropped, and then it only was strictly on Nintendo.
Yeah.
And then finally, like 8 years down the road, they went back to PlayStation. I'm just like, what the hell? What's going on? So that's one game for sure I would want. Do you have any that you could think of?
Actually, for Sony, I got like a couple, but I know one of them for Sony. It would be nice to see a new Twisted Metal game.
Oh, dude, Twisted Metal. My favorite one was.
Is it 2 or Black?
I think it was 2. It was called Twisted Metal Second Offense.
Or was that just because Twisted Metal 2 on the original PlayStation, Black was on the PS2?
Let me see if I can put. I thought it was called, because that was the intro. I always remembered it was like Twisted Metal Second Offense. I was like, that was my favorite one. Let me see. But dude, Twisted Metal would be awesome.
Yeah, because they came out with a PS3 version, which they kind of tried to reboot the series, and it kind of fell flat. I don't think people were very happy with it, so they pulled it. But like, why have they not released a new Twisted Metal game, especially like a reboot or a remake, and start over with the car combat? I mean, in this day and age, they can make that game really fun and crazy.
Maybe it was just called 2. Maybe it was called 2, and that was just part of the intro that they would sing in their song. I gotta look that up later, but the cover looks like it.
Oh, yeah, the whole like axle in front and whatnot.
Yeah, yep. But yeah, that would be a sick game to have remade.
And then the other game for PlayStation would be the Legend of Dragoon. I'd like to see a full remake on that. I mean, they could go the route of Final Fantasy VII remake if they wanted to, like an action RPG.
I would pay any amount of money to have a Legend of the Dragoon remake. I just don't understand
why they stopped. It came out for the original PlayStation, sold decently. I mean, it didn't knock Final Fantasy out of the water, but it sold well enough. But they just no sequel, no. After that.
I just think that it was literally because of Final Fantasy. I think Final Fantasy just overshadowed them so much that they, even though if you ask anybody who has played Legend of the Dragon, they're like, "Oh yeah, I would definitely like play that again or like a remake." But Final Fantasies were just coming out left and right. Whether it was like, this one and then a sequel, then they had all the port games like for the portables. They were just everywhere. Then they had, of course, like. What was it? Final Fantasy Dissidia, like the fighting one. So it's like it was just Final Fantasy everywhere, and I think that was the only thing that stopped them from shining. Was just like, why play Legend of the Dragoon when you got Final Fantasy? But
now you can play it on the PlayStation Plus subscription service. Dragoon is on there in the classic, and they actually upscaled it, so it's running. I mean, the graphics a little bit better, but could definitely use more work. But still, yeah, that I remember I bought it when it came out. I admit I still have not completed it. Like everything else, I got distracted with the new game and I haven't gone back. But yeah, that's just one of those games that has become a cult following that people they're asking Sony, like, you have this great game. Why aren't you not doing anything with it?
That's a lot of games, but maybe it is a money thing. I'm not sure. Maybe it's not like selling at their price point that they wanted it to be at, but. But I feel like games like that, you have to take a risk and just do it again anyway. Like, I mean, they're kind of doing it right now with all the Resident Evil remakes, because it's not guaranteed that the remake is actually going to be good. We're just hoping that it's good because the rest of your track record have shown that the remakes they sell. But I don't know. You got the money, risk it, go for it.
A rumor about Resident Evil Zero and Code Veronica remakes, and some says that they are in development. But some said they're not putting in the remake formula that they did for like 4 or something like that. So I don't know if it's just going to be like that detailed and whatnot, or if it's just going to be kind of like the same
game but just upscaled to the current console.
They updated but I mean, I know that 4 for them was like, well, hell, even Resident Evil 2 was like a huge project for them to remake that thing from the ground up, and that thing did very well. And then 4, of course, was another one, but that too sold well and had great reviews. But yeah, I'm just curious to what that rumor means by it. Like, is it still gonna be quote unquote a remake, but just not all the care and love that they put into 4, or what? But yeah, I don't know. That's. I'm trying to think of an Xbox game that I would love for them to bring back. That was maybe on the OG one.
I think they're not bringing it back, but I think when we did the podcast for, was it Summerfest that we were watching?
Oh yeah, the Xbox, yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the ones that they were saying they were making a sequel of was Fable.
Yes, yep.
Yeah, so that I know that was one of Xbox's bigger games was Fable, like Fable, Halo, and Gears, and then that's a new one that's coming out too. Was it D-Day for Gears?
Yep, E-Day, yeah.
Or E-Day, yeah, there you go.
Well, yeah, then they also announced Perfect Dark remake.
Okay.
I played on the N64, but I did not play, was it Perfect Dark Zero for the 360? I think that was their sequel for that.
I think so.
But I knew that for a while that there was a Knights of the Old Republic remake, but then I heard that thing went through development hell, and I have no idea where it's at now.
I thought they said they dropped that.
Did they finally cancel? Because it was supposed to be on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if it switched studios, and then it just got crazy, and then they finally just either canned it or what. But
yeah, I thought they canned it. Knights of the Old Republic. Let's see. They said it is not yet confirmed that it might be a remake. They said it's still in the works if it's going to be one. Realistically, they say you probably won't hear anything about it until 2025, so next year. Yeah. Yeah, I thought they canned it, but maybe not. Maybe they're still in the works if they're gonna do it, or if they're just gonna say screw it and go from there. Yeah, is there any Xbox game? I'm trying to think of an Xbox game that I would want them to remake, or at least bring back. Because it was hard for me because growing up, I was like all Sony, and the only games I really played on Xbox were like Gears, Halo,
right,
Fable. I remember Conker's Bad Fur Day, but I don't know if that was. I don't remember if that. I think that was only on Xbox, right?
Yeah, it was on the the OG Xbox was it?
Yeah. So Conker's Bad Fur Day. Yeah, I don't know if there's any ones that I can think of. I think more or less it was always Sony for me of games that I wanted them to bring back, or do a sequel to, or a remake to, or of some sort. So
I know the community has been demanding a Dino Crisis remake from Capcom, and
I thought that was already in the works, wasn't it?
They haven't confirmed it. I know that people have been demanding it. They even sent out a survey like earlier this year. It said, "What games would you like to see from Capcom?" And people kept saying like Dino Crisis remake, like. And then I know some people are like, "Well, do we really need that kind of dinosaur out there when you have like Monster Hunter?" I'm like, but it's not the same. It's not like you're running around. It's basically Resident Evil but with dinosaurs.
Right.
Like, if you take the same formula they did for RE2 remake and make it for Dino Crisis, which is I guarantee that thing would probably sell well. Like, because they came out with 3 games and that's it. They just, and then this whole tease, like earlier this year, last year, they thought like they're releasing a Dino Crisis remake, but it ended up being that Exo Primal one, which is just like an online service game fighting dinosaurs. But everybody's like, like what was this? Like, I have not played it, but I don't know if it's still going or not.
Yeah, I'm reading this guy has a video up on YouTube that was 6 days ago, so that's pretty recent. But it sounds like Shinji Mikami had an interview with Eurogamer, and it sounds like he's saying no. Space for a new data thanks to that's what Capcom's. Yep. Because it looks like, they're doing a Shadows of the Dam remaster.
Really? What's that one? Is that Capcom?
I think that's Capcom.
I don't know if
according to recent one, said he was surprised to see. Yeah, because he said he was surprised to see that people were making fan-made like Dino Crisis games, because like I guess the popularity spiked after that. Yeah, I guess that would be interesting. No room. Huh. He was saying in the interview that they have no room to make a Dino Crisis.
Whatever, remake. There's room for it.
Oh yeah. But it looks like, I think he's saying that because they're trying to continue the game wagon on Resident Evil. That's why.
Yeah.
Me personally, because they're on the hype train right now for all these damn Resident Evil remakes, because they've all been selling really well. Everyone that they put out. So, yeah, I call BS on that. There's definitely room, but I think they just want to follow the money train right now. Because you got Silent Hill. Oh, you know what? That is another game I wouldn't mind bringing back. Have you ever played a game called Parasite Eve?
I have it, but I've not played it. That was their. I know SquareSoft came out. That was their version of Resident Evil, wasn't it? Wasn't it like a survival horror?
Yeah. Just a different story, and I actually played it. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, actually.
Oh, there you go. Yep.
So.
Yep. Parasite Eve.
I know they came out with a sequel for the original PlayStation, and that was it. Like, they did not come out with one for the PS2 or anything like that. So it's like, I know people that, that's another game they're asking SquareSoft to bring back. It's like, bring back Parasite Eve.
I feel like when it comes down to the games that are like somewhat like the bigger ones, they just forget about it. Because that's obviously one of them. Like Parasite Eve was a good game, but it probably just got overshadowed by Resident Evil. But I loved it. Same thing again, like Legend of the Dragoon. Just good game, just got overshadowed by Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
So.
Which I mean, okay, it's like this game comes out, does very well. People love that formula, and so other companies try to, copy that formula, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But it's like that one game that came out that sold very well, and other games, it's like that one set the bar so high that people are like, well, I want that series because they did it well, even though these series are similar to that and are great games. It's just, like you said, they just don't get the love they need because they get overshadowed by the bigger boys, like Resident Evil, Final Fantasy, and stuff like that. That, like fighting games, you think like Street Fighter would be the OG king from being around since like day one, but everybody's loving like Tekken and everything.
Yeah, and that's surprising to me just because Tekken is so complex. Like a lot of people do not understand. Like I love Tekken. I love watching the tournaments and stuff like that. Like we were at 2D Con and Combo Breakers were there and they were playing like Smash and I think they had Tekken and everything like that up, but the jump that it made for it being like the best fighting game, I'm like, I love the combos and all that stuff, but is it easy to play? Because that's the hard part. Like I understand that you have to play, you have to study and all that stuff to be like good at it, but like the combos, man, are crazy. Because I know maybe because they added in a system though. They actually do have a system where it's like, how can I say, easy to do combos, where like you can start the combo and then you could just tap one button and it will finish the string for you. Like maybe that's what it was, but they already said that you're obviously not going to get the maximum damage because there's other combos that you can string in to make it better. But for the sake of just doing consistent damage, like it will finish it for you. And I'm like, that's interesting because Street Fighter is easy to understand. It's more or less like a rock paper scissors to me. And Street Fighter is like, okay, if you go low, I'll try to block low, vice versa and everything like that. But there's so much movement in Tekken because it's 3D, like you're circling the whole arena.
Yeah.
Whereas Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat is that 2D side type fighter. So I don't know. And even right now, I heard some rumors that they're already thinking about another Mortal Kombat already. And I said to myself, like, why? Like I don't know if it didn't sell as much as it wanted to, but I think because I was going to buy Mortal Kombat 1, but I think the reason why I didn't is because I wanted it to be more like Mortal Kombat 10 for the fighting style. Like the combos in 10, I think was the best version of Mortal Kombat. This new one with the assist system and jumping on, it narrows it down and everyone goes like, okay, well, we know this. I forget what they call it. It's not assist, but cameo. There you go. Like the cameos the cameos that they bring in, it's like everyone kind of flows to the main ones that does maximum damage for your build, and they just leave everybody else alone. Like that shouldn't have been a thing. I always thought that like instead of having a cameo system, you just bring back a Mortal Kombat trilogy style game where it's the roster is just huge. Because I still think Mortal Kombat Trilogy has the biggest roster of all Mortal Kombat games.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so I want to see actually how many. But yeah, that was my draw point for that, is that I wish that they did more like 10 rather than the new style. Let's see, how many characters did they have?
It says 32 immediately playable characters and 4 classic characters. So is that 36?
36, really?
I wonder if that's what they say.
Yeah, more than they said more than 30, but they didn't give me. The Mortal Kombat series has featured over 77 playable characters. Yeah, we know that, but
yeah, how many of the game Mortal Kombat trilogy have on it? Like,
yeah, so I thought it was definitely the biggest roster game that they have ever had.
It was, because I think after that they started shrinking them just to I don't know, maybe it had to do with development or data size of the game. They had to kind of start doing that, but
right. Yeah, God, this site is bad. They're trying to take me through all the bios. I'm like, I don't want to know the bios. I just want to see all the characters. All characters. But yeah, so that's, I don't know. It's Tekken has definitely came a long way, and this new game's definitely got it has a lot of good things for it. And I don't know what Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter are going to do next to try to come back. Not saying that they're in a bad spot, but Tekken just kind of blew up because when Street Fighter first came out, everybody was playing Street Fighter because I think it was the first out of the. Wait, or was it the second? Was it Mortal Kombat 1, then Street Fighter 6, and then Tekken? I know Tekken was last for sure. I just can't remember which came out first, whether it was Mortal Kombat 1 or Street Fighter.
I thought it might have been Street Fighter and then Mortal Kombat 1.
That's what I thought too. Because Street Fighter, it was actually making really good sales. Like everybody was playing it. And then Mortal Kombat 1 came out. It had its boom, but I think Street Fighter still was taking the cake for it.
Yep.
And then Tekken came out, and it was just like, boom.
Yeah.
Tekken kind of demolished everything else after that. So, yeah, I still can't find one that just says, hey, they have this many characters. But yeah, anything else exciting that you're looking for as games or what's coming up?
If I'm looking forward to any games coming up, probably have to
or what's coming up on your to-do list for, I guess, the ending of or finishing up this month or looking into October?
Yeah, definitely probably finishing up Astrobot. I'm sure that'll probably be another game I platinum with because the Astro's Playroom was the first platinum I got.
Okay.
For the PS5, so I'll probably want to be able to achieve that. For Halloween horror stuff, like I just went and completed Resident Evil 2 Remake as Claire. Maybe I'll go back and play 3 Remake or 7. I know 7's definitely a lot more scarier in terms of like jump scares and horror aspect of it. But yeah, I think Silent Hill 2 Remake's dropping here soon.
Yes.
So
there's not a Silent Hill 1 remake, right?
No, they just jumped to 2. So I don't know why, but maybe because it's a better story. So they're like, "Oh, we'll just do this one." But
right.
Maybe pick that up. We'll see what the reviews say of it and whatnot.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm hoping that get some scary games going into in October. Phasmophobia, I do want to try that. I hear that one's freaky.
Yes, more people to play because I think Phasmophobia, they said officially for the console release is supposed to be Halloween.
Good. Yeah, no, that'd be. And then those other psychological thriller games, like you're telling me, like Amnesia: The Bunker.
Yep.
There's like, did you ever play a Plague's Tale? Is that like a horror game?
It's, I want to say it's more story driven.
Okay.
But it does have some suspenseful moments. Because I think that's the Plague Tale. That's the one with the brother and the sister, right?
Yeah, and they're trying to. I have
That's
not played it, but I heard it's really good. That they're trying to
yeah,
escape, and you just see them have to deal with all these rats or something.
right.
So and her weapon's only
Yeah.
just like
Oh,
a leather and
that
a sling rock or something.
yes, yes. What was that other game? God, I just had it. The number 3 is coming out soon. Uh oh man, it's not Little Big Planet.
Uh,
It's you play as like the little guy. It's a side scroller, super suspenseful. Like the world is dark and the story is like top tier, and it's an indie game,
it's
but it's
not Hollow
already
Knight, is it?
not Hollow Knight, but that one's also coming out. Number 2's coming out, Silk Song.
Um,
What the hell is it called?
trying to think, it's like a side scroller. That's
Yeah, like the camera angles kind of change, but you're always like a 2D side scroller. The first one you play as a character in like a little raincoat, and that story goes into number 2. Grr, why can't I remember that game?
oh, okay, yeah. That thing.
It's gonna kill me. I'm gonna look it up as you think of some other games, because besides that, I think for horror wise, the one I'm looking out for the most is definitely Outlast trilogy,
Mm-hmm.
or not Outlast trilogy, but Outlast Trials, and then the Halloween event for Phasmophobia this year should be good. They always make them better every year because the Easter event was kind of cool. Dead Space, it's got
Yeah,
that.
I played the original one. I should probably play the remake. I hear that one's really good.
Yeah, because they added some side quests and stuff now too.
Well, just the overall graphics. Like I hear, like the lighting in the first game was just garbage. Like there's no.
No, it was just dark.
Well, it's dark areas, but it didn't look like you could still see what's going on. But now this one looks like that it's actually dark. It's black. You have to shine your flashlight on it to see what the heck's over there. It's not like, oh, I can tell there's something. So that one probably freaked me out more because you're walking through a tight area and it's the only thing is your flashlight and you suddenly shine on something.
Right.
You're like, oh my god.
Right. Hollow Body. I'm still Silent Hill remake. Slitterhead. I never even heard of that one, but that's coming out November 8th. That's PC only.
Okay.
Dark Fracture, Paranormal Tales, Phasmophobia. Oh, they're doing an Until Dawn remake?
I thought they can't. Yeah, it was for the PS5. I think they kind of redid the whole thing for now.
Oh, that's why it was one of the best PS4 games. I didn't know it was one of the best. Okay.
I think that's one of those games where you could have multiple endings depending on how you choose.
Is it that one? Is that it? I think that Little Nightmares.
Oh, that does sound like a yeah.
Yeah, Little Nightmares. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that is it. Yep,
Okay.
there's the semaphore. So Little Nightmares 1 and 2 was amazing. You could probably, without looking for any of the collectibles or anything like that, you could probably go through that game in a couple hours.
I think I know what you're talking about. I gotta look at it myself now.
Yeah, Little Nightmares number 3 is coming out. Looks like it says 2025, so next year. Oh, it got delayed.
Okay.
That's why it's coming 2025.
Yeah, it looks like I know what you're talking about. I still have yet to play it, but okay.
I'm pretty sure that's one of the I want to say one of the free games. I can't remember if it was 1 or 2 that were in the past.
Oh, sure, for PlayStation.
Yeah, but that game is good. I've always wanted to go back and finish it because the trophies for them are not hard. There's only one trophy I feel like is hard, and you just got to play the game enough to understand.
Okay.
Is the one where you got to go through. Is it go through a level without being hit, or just go through like a whole chapter without being hit? I can't remember what it is, but I was like, "Ooh, I don't know, I don't know, if I want to do that right now." But the story is great. Like for an indie game, that story is amazing.
I'll have to definitely
Really
look
good.
for it
I
now.
would definitely recommend it. Yeah, for sure.
So I guess is there any achievement that you're proud of this week before we kind of sign off? Is there anything that you grinded for? Or you're like any achievements?
Yeah, actually, I only need one more trophy. It wasn't a hard one, and actually, I just played the game naturally without even looking at the achievements, and I found out that I'm only one trophy away from the platinum, which is the first Ascendant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
I didn't even know like I was getting all of them, and then I just so happened to look at my current trophy, and it was like you only need one trophy, and it's to power up a tactical weapon, which power up they just mean like put a catalyst in it so that way you could put more mods into the
Mm-hmm.
weapon. I got a crap ton of those catalysts, so I just haven't done it yet. I was like, oh, so I can do that at any point and I'll have the platinum. So I'll probably do that at some point, probably today, probably do it later tonight. Just get the platinum for it.
Nice.
So yeah, that should have the platinum this weekend. Other games as far as trophies go, I don't think I'm really close to anything because I know I have to play through Withering Rooms again to get the platinum for that one. But
Okay.
I am almost done with that game. I'm about to hit into chapter 4, which is the last part.
Okay. Yeah.
So really good game. That's another game I would recommend too. It's Souls like,
Mm-hmm.
not as hard once you understand like the controller says. It is a little clunky a little bit when you're fighting, but once you get the understanding of how to play and how you dodge and stuff like that, it's a great game. I love it.
Oh, so yeah, definitely look into it. I know watching you play it seems like worth checking out.
Yeah, it's I always took the approach of trying to do something different from what like everyone else normally does because I can see now how spell casting could be really overpowered in that game because there's so many items that you can equip to your player.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like a mini Elden Ring. Like I kid you not, I probably have well over like 35 different rings,
Damn.
maybe 40. And I'm just like, there's so much, I don't know what to do. And then people are like, oh, spell bill. And I'm just like, I don't want to do a spell bill because everyone's doing a spell bill and it's
Mm-hmm.
easy. So I'm going for melee build. And I found this really nice vampire build that I'm doing where I can just basically sit in front of somebody and just keep swinging. And I get like, I want to say close to 50% of my damage is returned health whenever I get a successful hit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's good, But um, yeah, I think those are the games I'm really looking forward to completing once I get there. What about yourself?
It'd probably be Astrobot.
Astrobot? Okay.
Yeah, my wife and I actually would go in the PlayStation app and see what the achievements is, what it takes to achieve that. So I'd be
Nice.
like, all
Okay.
right, this one we just have to climb on top of the mothership. All right, there it is. Or this one you just have to, take a picture with these people. Okay. So we're doing
Nice.
that, and then there are ones that require like find all the bots in the gorilla zone, and so
Okay.
there's those ones. But yeah, I think her and I are gonna try to definitely go for the platinum on that one. I don't think we'll achieve it this weekend because we still got more to do, but we're slowly.
Right.
Like the other night, I think we got 2 or 3 achievements unlocked. So
Nice. Is it a pretty long game, Astrobot?
I think you could probably. I think they said it's about 30 hours, maybe 40. If
That's
you really
not bad.
if you, I'm sure you could probably speed run through it and not need all the bots and still beat the
Hmm.
game. But if you were trying to get everything, it probably could take up to 30 hours, if not a little longer, to get it all
Okay.
done and stuff. Because you and I talked earlier, they are going to release DLCs challenges in the future where it's time trials or different challenges
Okay.
to complete, and they are going to release new bots on top of that. So
Nice.
looks like the repay value would be pretty good. That you may be playing the same level again, but now you have to beat in so much time to unlock this bot, and they're like, "Oh my god, let's do it!" So, kind of thing.
Okay.
But
Nice.
that's probably what I'm working on. I know Halo is definitely a beast.
Yep. Slow grind.
It is, and there's some that require multiplayer, which you're just like, win 5 matches in this mode. And I'm like, okay, or like get
Yeah.
10,000 kills. I'm like, ugh. So
Those are the ones I hate. I wish they would keep it bare minimum for online. Like I'm totally down with play, this many matches of this mode, or win your first match in this mode, or just simple ones. I hate ones where it's like get this many kills with this weapon, get this many kills with that weapon, or like they got to do fun ones like Halo did, like stick one enemy but get like a triple kill or something like that. Like that ones, I feel like those are kind of cool to eventually get, but like those ones get 50,000 kills. I'm like, no, I just want to play and get the platinum and make it be easy. Let me just play it naturally. And people might say, oh, well, that is natural. It's like, no, that means and requires me to only play this game to get that. I don't want any of those. Like, I was really surprised how easy the first Ascended Platinum was. I thought it was going to take me forever because it's an MMO. So it's just like, I was shocked when I seen 23 out of 25 trophies. I'm like, what? I haven't been playing that long, but geez. Okay.
Must log 250 hours to get this bug. And be like, son of a.
Unfortunately, I'm almost there. I've clocked in a lot of time for First Ascendant. And some of it's not even enjoyable. You popped into my streams. It literally is just grinding. That's literally what that game is, and it's an enjoyable grind. And I get really excited because I try to do my own builds. And then what I'll play around with it, go into the camp where you can test your damage and stuff like that. And then I'll compare it to people that have made similar builds just to see if I can take out and switch things. But I try not to copy because it's like you're defeating the purpose of the game. Like you have all these modules that you can put on your character, but you're copying someone else's. It's just like, dude, just experiment. They literally have a whole little department in the hub center where you can make a build and then go down there and test it. So it's just like, just test and see what works. So
yeah. All right. Well, I don't know if there's any last things you want to call out before we sign off. Plan streaming anytime soon?
I'll probably stream tonight. Don't know exactly what. It might be some more Warhammer. I do want to get the most out of the buffs that First Ascendant also released for like weapon proficiency and stuff like that. But I'm actually really looking forward to Halloween this time around for the horror season, because I'm actually legit going to try to play a crap ton of horror games. So be on the lookout for Phasmophobia, because that's probably one of my favorite horror games out there.
You should get a heart rate monitor so we can see if your heart rate increases playing these games.
It probably will.
There's some that have those heart rate monitors on them. To see
Yep.
Yep.
I don't know how you. Is there a scene where you or a widget that you can add for that?
It's possible. I just don't know what device you need to
actually do it.
Right. Like, I don't know if. I know like the Apple Watch has a heart rate monitor and stuff like that, but I have no idea how they connect it to the computer to get it work.
Right.
That.
I guess I could like do it the cheap way where I can actually wear my watch, cut it on, and then just like when something happens, it's kind of like show it at the screen type deal. Like, yeah, it's up there, but yeah, I should do that because there is still moments in Phasmophobia that still will get you. Like, because they're not cheap jump scares. It's completely random. Like you can get scare to scare, like back to back, where one moment you're in the Red Room event and you're like, oh shit, that's kind of creepy, ha ha ha, and then you bend a corner and then you hear the whisper in your ear and she's like targeting you. It's like, oh shit, okay, I wasn't ready for the back to back. So but yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to October for horror stuff, because that's probably my favorite genre is horror. I know I don't play like a crap ton of it at once, and that's because a lot of the indie ones are on PC only.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of like easy ones that you can do on PlayStation.
Yeah,
minus like Little Nightmare. So
slowly it's getting there, but yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. Well, cool. Thanks for giving me your time to talk about video games and PS5 Pro and Halloween games to look forward to that people should think about. And everybody knows we stream tonight, that you're the Don Riches.
That's right.
On Twitch, TikTok, and I'm sure they just find you on other stuff. So,
yep, indeed.
Well, cool. Well, thanks again for joining, and I'm sure we'll talk to you again here soon for another podcast and whatnot.
Yep, we'll figure out what's the next big thing that's happening and try to make a date for it. And yeah, like 117 said, across all the stuff, Twitch and all that stuff, the Don's richest. And yeah, it should be interesting going into end of this year for everything. So
yeah, I agree.
Yep. So thanks everybody, and I'll check you guys out later.
Thank you. See ya.
All right, you dirtbags, heard enough? Think you're all high speed and low drag? Well, that's the spirit. But remember, there's always something new to learn on the battlefield. So fall in and subscribe to the 117th Gaming Squadron podcast. And don't be a dang deserter. And if you're looking for some real-time action, the Squadron Commander is always streaming over on Twitch. Follow 117 Gaming Squadron and witness true tactical dominance. Or maybe witness him getting schooled by some kid half his age. Either way, it's entertaining. All right, dismissed. Until next time, stay in formation and keep finishing the fight.